First, a disclaimer. I haven't filmed this video for the express purpose of this topic. It's just footage of me teaching this morning. Also, a replace tip and other health issues have probably put fighting behind me. So if you want to argue realism with me, don't bother. I've been there, done that. It bores me to tears. Those who have no time for or interest in the traditional fighting arts should move on from my little channel. I didn't take the footage this morning for any particular reason other than as a reintroduction of a rather rare form from the Chen-Pan Ling system, Feng Chuan 2. I'll link to the form in the notes and at the end.
Pushing and redirect Gong Bu, but what's happened is this is seemingly from sideways. I'm moving that leg away to get a bit of distance, moving there, around, getting that leg up as well, so that I can, if anything, maybe use this as a lead to the face. Okay. Cast on. That's hooking around the head. This hand must stay active. It doesn't just go. It's not doing anything. The reason is that it may not work. You're going for a single leg takedown. Move away. I've got to get this arm around again. Smack. So keep that arm.
Notice the opening move. It's something I've used as a defense to a single leg takedown. The beauty of the connected nature of forms is that it includes a follow-up if your opponent remains on the offensive. Each application is equal in and of itself.
Cross is coming at me. I'm ducking. I'm not going to rest on my laurels. I'm going to duck, expect the hook. The hook is going to come that way. It would normally be well placed for, I'm not going to do much of it there, there. Okay. Instead, there means that his shoulders go from here, perfect, to there, off. It helps it just a little bit. I'm not going to rely on that though. I'm punching at the same time. Rising with the punch. So, 1, 2. And the more I pull, the less.
The idea is always the same: thwart an attack by deflection, evasion, or cutting the supply line, destabilize the opponent, counter. The tactics are time-worn and occur again and again. That's how you know whether they are applications and not just something someone invented recently. You can also use these to determine whether changes have been made to the form, changes made by people with no experience of real resistance. Essentially, I think of forms in much the same way as HEMA practitioners think of traditional treatises, except the material is preserved in connected movements, not images.
Under extreme pressure, and they're coming to uppercut. That arm should be a deflection itself, because 1, 2 can help. In this case, I'm going to go 1, 2, because I'm assuming I'm okay. But don't waste that arm to simply do nothing. Have it ready, because you might be too slow. In which case you've got that, and now I've got this, which is really quite nice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And having on that, pull that.
Lovely. Excellent.
Here's again this same thing. He's grabbed me, he punches. The best thing for me to do there is he wants his shoulders curved. More turn, more power. But if I lock at shoulder, I can bam, hit him. And hit his throat. Turn sideways just in case.
You'll notice that all of the applications anticipate follow-up attacks. That's the beauty of context. It doesn't assume the one-punch model of fairly modern karate kung fu practice.
But I'm falling into attacks, so I have to get it right. So, repeating. 1, 2, and now as he punches, 1.
You'll also notice that the applications don't always feature knockout punches as counters. Sometimes they just cut lines of supply or create space. This might be to allow you to escape or apply other defenses and attacks. The goals of civilian defense aren't the same as combat sport. You don't win if you hurt. You win if you don't get hurt.
Just attacking with a kick, and he's coming around to there. I'm going to jam in. Seems a bit daft. That's actually really useful on that sort of close angle. It's not that close, is he? This is pretty far. He's getting you the edge. But stepping in, and I don't want to lose the momentum of this leg that's already moving forwards. So I've gone this, I don't want to do one and then do some drop step. It's not going to work there. So I'm going to 1, 2, keep that knee there, stops him advancing. 1, keep that knee and in. So I can jam his shoulders. And then there. Because he's going to punch with that arm sure as nuts. If I stop that shoulder, I've simply taken the air out of it. And one more time. 2. And from there, Jeff attacks and I push away. Pushes. And notice again, target roughly center of the chest, stops that, just cuts the supply line. One more time. 1, 2, 3. And he attacks again.
Although sometimes, like that particular eye jab that I do, they are really effective and nasty. I've seen that particular application used in a case I prosecuted in another life. And it's as bad as you might imagine.
Why here? You're in close. So, I go for my own signal leg takedown. The first thing he's going to try to do is then start to knee. I'm going to bring the rear leg up. Jam. Because he's been pushed back a bit, I have this. Notice first thing I do is I bring my body up as well. I don't want him pushing me down. I want to bring the back leg up and let's think it. You know how strong this is. And so he does. And notice, doesn't matter how hard he's holding on. If I try and go sideways, but if I lift up, he locks his shoulder. Because he's close in, heel. I chase him, he's moving away. And from there, if it's failed, throws a punch, I jam it. Here. Every technique that you have like this, it could be a hit to kick to the thigh. Fairly nasty. One of the things I could do is move in. And notice this is very weak, but if I move in, you think, oh, you're walking into a punch. He's doing that, he's not expecting it, moving in. That he punches me, straight after. Yeah. But, that's straight in the groin. This jams it, and my hands are then up. So, 1. Then there. Kicks, jam, kick. As soon as he feels the jam, he's going to back away, kick him.
You'll notice that there are a surprising number of jams and abrupt entries. That's because the ring craft that features in MMA, for example, isn't a feature of civilian attacks. The different basic motivations and circumstances mean that different techniques are preferred. Large movements like kicks slapping against your arm are actually attacks to straightened elbows or other joints. I haven't demonstrated these here.
That, I could be doing the other hand, 1, and I could be doing 1, 2, or I could be doing 1, 2, which I prefer. So I want a rising there. So it's a round. And let's say 1, 2, 3. Right. 3, 4. Small movement with this leg. So what could it be? Remember, he is going to lead with it and wait for the cross. Cup your arm means that you're doing something to his body as well. So I'm going to go right in and I'm going to jam his whole body. He's punching, jam it. So that's why there. And I'm striking into the groin. So again, faster. Right! See this? Don't push it straight in. If we do nothing else, you can see the punch came from there. I think quite strong. And I went in there. That wrist snap, I changed my grip. So I'm striking there. Karate is Skohirken, Kurzan Seipai. There. And of course, jamming that straight away. And now I'm actually really nice and square. And I can hammer in into there. So that's what I want. Round. Using that whip right through. Don't go linear. And you got me. One more time. Yeah. Bit of athleticism, my hip is not allowed. Try and use both legs.
There is also a fair amount of athleticism inherent in the movements. That's because the moves serve as solo conditioning tools. They are made larger, longer, deeper, higher, etc. to simulate how quickly you'll get gassed. Besides, traditional forms are also about physical mastery of form, flexibility, and fluid movement. It comes back. You land in a mabu, horse stance, and the reason you land in a horse stance and not in kind of a San-Ti stance is because you've exerted your full energy in coming back that full circle. It's very hard. And there, if you go in, Andrew, and throw a punch and go. Last, you'll notice that a surprising number of deflections, parries, jams, and other interceptions are employed. These are often called blocks, a mistranslation of uke in Japanese, which is a reference to receiving blows intelligently. Their fundamental usefulness is a subject for another video.
Can be 1, 2, and can be all manner of things. And from there, here punches.